My neighbor demanded that I stop using my Wi-Fi because it interferes with her plants. Yes, you read that right. I live in a townhouse complex where the walls are thinner than paper, and the neighbors are quite the characters. One of them is a woman in her late 50s, wears only clothes that she dyes herself in tie-dye style, claims she has a telepathic connection with crystals, and once told me that my aura is too digital. Usually I sit in my front yard, scrolling through something on my phone or working on my laptop. Apparently, that's why she thinks my aura is too digital, but her latest stunt broke all records. Last week, she knocked on my door, a small houseplant in one hand, a printout of some drawing resembling a Wi-Fi signal in the other. She said we needed to talk about my router. I didn't understand. She began to explain that my Wi-Fi disrupts the vibrational energy of her succulents, pointed to the drawing. Honestly, it looked more like a sad jellyfish than a Wi-Fi symbol, and said that the signal passes directly through our shared wall and continuously attacks her plants. According to her, the plants think that Wi-Fi is sunlight, but it's a deception and they wither spiritually. You know what's the funniest part? Her plants are standing in a dark hallway without a single window. It gets better. She offered two options. Either I turn off the Wi-Fi every night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. because that's the plant's rest time, or I share my Wi-Fi with her and move the router to her apartment so she can adjust the signal herself. I laughed because I thought it was a joke, but she wasn't joking. She got angry, turned around, and left while I was laughing after her. Since then, I've been waiting for developments. You have to move out. I need space for the child. This situation is happening right now, and I still can't wrap my head around it. I'm 26 years old. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate named Leah. She's 28. We've been renting it for 5 months. Everything is simple. We each have our own bedroom. We split the rent in half. We don't cross paths much. I work from home. I set up a desk and monitor in the room. There's not much space, but it's enough for me. A month ago, Leah found out she was pregnant. I congratulated her, figuring she probably had ideas about how to fit in or move to a bigger apartment. How wrong I was. A week ago, she decided to have a serious conversation and stated that she wanted to keep the apartment for herself. Like, when the baby is born, sharing housing with someone will be too stressful. She wants to turn the second room, that is, my room, into a nursery, and thinks it's time for me to start looking for a new place to live. I reminded her that we both signed a contract and I'm not going to move out. I pay my share of the rent and utilities and work here, from home. Her pregnancy, although important to her, doesn't give her the right to kick me out or dispose of my space. She didn't take it very well, accused me of being callous and selfish, said that it was unfair to squeeze a newborn into her bedroom when there was another room, and that as a person without children, I should be more understanding. Since then, Leah has switched to passive-aggressive mode, slamming doors, whispering something under her breath, regularly dropping phrases like, "Some people only think about themselves." She keeps saying that I should do the right thing and give way to the child, as if her personal choice carries more weight than the legal lease agreement that she herself signed. Just in case, I've already contacted our landlord to make sure my rights are protected and that she doesn't try to pull some kind of trick. I'm not moving anywhere. She decided to have a child in the middle of the lease term, without a plan and without discussion. It's not my problem, and it's not my responsibility to save her from the consequences of her decisions. Want more space? Great. Let her move herself. I'll help pack things. My sister's sure that my child is her child, too. I'm currently 28 weeks pregnant. This is my husband and my first child, and we decided not to tell anyone except our parents until the end of the first trimester, just to be on the safe side. We're a pretty private couple anyway, but my older sister didn't like that. Offense, silence, drama. My mom said casually, "You know, she was very upset that you didn't tell her first. She's the oldest." Oh well, the next time we went to a sister's breakfast with the other sisters, she started asking, "Oh, I hear you're pregnant. Been married for a year. Everyone's asking, when is it?" I realized what this was all leading up to and just said, "Yes, I'm pregnant." And from that moment on, some kind of stir began. Every time she sees me or calls me, she says, "How's our baby? How's my baby?" And she says it also in the presence of my husband. Like, what? My husband and I politely but clearly said, "No, this is our child. Ours, as in parents. No need for ours, yours, mine." But she continued. Once I said to her in response, "Are you talking about Jack? He's doing great. Jack is our dog." She didn't stop, and I kept brushing it off until she said, "Okay, how's your alien doing?" I couldn't believe my ears. To me, this is very impolite. I don't have any aliens at home. I calmly replied, and another time, in front of my husband and younger sisters, she started again. "How's our baby?" I couldn't take it anymore. "Ours? No, this is my child." To which she, without blinking an eye, declared, "But he will have our last name. Like, since we're blood relatives, actually, no. The child will have the father's last name. I'm also changing my last name to my husband's last name." That's when she blew up. And in a haughty tone, she said, "Oh, I see. Since you have a husband of a different nationality, you're not like us anymore?" "Oh yeah, what?" I just twisted my face. The younger sister next to me was also sitting with that face. A little backstory. My older sister was always arrogant and used to everyone almost kissing her feet. Damn, even I went along with her, but then I came to my senses. I don't know how else to ask her not to call my child hers. I'm sure she's doing it to anger my husband, since she likes to make fun of him anyway. Update. Long before the pregnancy, I started building boundaries. As soon as I realized how much my older sister likes to control everything around. The biggest step was just moving away from the whole family. Unfortunately, this desire for domination comes from my father. It used to be much worse, but since I started putting her in her place and seeing her less often, it's gotten better. For reference, my sister and I used to be very close, and I helped her with her child, but I never called her child mine. To me, it's weird. So it's not about the lack of closeness, but rather that she's doing it just for fun. The last time she started again with her ours, my child, I immediately stopped her and clearly said that I really don't like it. I think it finally got to her because yesterday at the barbecue on Father's Day, she didn't say it once. Moreover, it even sounds strange, but she behaved normally. Yes, some of you gave pretty harsh advice, but right now, I just don't have the strength to be harsh with anyone. I'm pregnant and trying to avoid stress. My husband and I, in the beginning of the pregnancy, reduced communication with her to a minimum. We only communicated at general family gatherings or if she herself contacted us. If everything goes downhill again, I already know what to do. As for childbirth, my husband and I discussed everything in advance. He's completely on my side, and I wouldn't have made it without him. Only our parents will be at the birth. No one will touch the baby until we're ready. She definitely will not take care of the child and will never be left alone with him. P.S. And yes, I say baby or child because we specifically don't find out the sex of the baby. Naglagenka finds out that the specialists can really get up and leave. I'm an engineer. Sometimes I consult on small things, but only friends and exclusively as a favor. One of my good friends asked me to help his wife's parents as they started a large-scale renovation. I agreed only because he asked me. I'm not interested in such work, and I don't really need it. The house was old and by all accounts with a lot of problems. He immediately warned that his mother-in-law might be difficult. That's an understatement. For some reason, she decided that she would pay while I was taking 1/10 of the average price. Then she can snap her fingers at me like I was her servant. A couple times she wrote me quite rude letters, but I kept quiet. When I pointed out flaws in their project, she started to be rude, but I tried to ignore it. Everything changed when I needed to go to the site to check something on the spot. I offered to come on the weekend. It didn't suit her, not in the evening after work either. She was only comfortable on weekdays when I was actually working. I refused and insisted that I could either on the weekend or in the evening after work. And that's when she freaked out a little bit, switched from rudeness to aggression, stated that since I pay, I should adapt to her schedule and not the other way around. I forwarded the message to my friend, wrote that I was leaving the project, let them look for another one. He apologized, I replied that everything was fine, and it's no longer my problem. The mother-in-law then wrote to me in complete shock that that's not how things are done, and I didn't answer.